Whether it be in the marketplace of ideas or goods, the most precious resource is not money, it is freedom of choice. Too often regulators, however well-intentioned, substitute their judgment for the preference of individuals. They are the option destroyers, bureaucrats who seek to control risk and inequity at the cost of innovation and opportunity. It is important to realize that regulations restrict doing things that some people would otherwise choose. That's not always bad. Laws against fraud, theft, or pollution serve a legitimate purpose. The trouble comes when these officials cross the line between rules that protect liberty and those that suffocate it. One way liberty is suffocated is with occupational licensing. In the 1950s, fewer than 5% of American workers needed a government license to do their job. Today, that number exceeds 20%. While regulators argue these rules are to ensure quality and safety, the real-world effect more often reduces competition, drives up prices, and prevents people, especially the poor and minorities, from entering the market. Consider the minimum wage. Advocates argue that raising it helps the poor, but the unseen consequence is borne by those whose skills do not yet justify that wage. When employers are forced to pay more than the value added by certain workers, they are incentivized to hire fewer of them, automate their jobs, or eliminate them entirely. The worker who might have accepted a lesser wage in order to gain experience is now left with nothing. When an option that once existed has been regulated out of existence, the result for some is mandated unemployment. Just ask gas attendants and theater ushers. The vanishing world of high-flow shower heads, incandescent light bulbs, and even certain asthma inhalers also highlight the deeds of the option destroyers. These aren't fringe items, but household staples that millions relied on for decades. Regulators, invoking environmental or health justifications, gradually banned or restricted them under sweeping mandates. In many cases, the substitutes are more expensive, less effective, or both. What the bureaucrats rarely consider or care about is that different people have different needs. One-size-fits-all rules may serve the interests of regulatory agencies and activists, but they bulldoze the preferences of real individuals. Regulation doesn't just tell you what you can't have, it tells you what you must have instead, and calls it progress. In the end, the cost of regulation is not just measured in dollars, but in diminished liberty. Every rule that outlaws a product, restricts a profession, or controls a price is a rule that destroys an option. Sometimes that is necessary, but too often it is simply the result of busybodies minding your business.
Can you say why America is the greatest country in the world?
Freedom and freedom. So let's keep it that way.
Well, I think it's time we ask ourselves if we still know the freedoms that were intended for us by the Founding Fathers.
Everything in the Bill of Rights tells the government what it can't do to restrict my freedom.
Make government more the servant and not the master of us all. In this free nation, we do not choose to be ruled. We elect to be governed.
Do not support your own oppressors. Stop letting the system exploit you.
I think that the real job that we have that confronts us is to somehow be able to sell our fellow Americans on the moral superiority of personal liberty.
I would remind you that extremism in the defense of liberty is no vice.